Thank you so much for the Swasti Vachakam. It was rendered by Veda Brahmarshi Pranav Ghanapati. Now, in the subsequent talks, talk 2 and talk 3 will be combined together as we have a series of Veda literature and knowledge sharing by Ghanapatis that have come forward. So we will be listening to Rig Veda perspectives, followed by Yajur Veda, the essence and significance by Veda Brahmarshi Pranav Ghanapati, Subramanya Sharma, he's also known as, and Samavedam will be rendered by Pandit Sri Chandrasekhara Sharma, Samavedula, after we finish the Yajurveda. So please, we have a good chunk of time. Listen, try to get beautiful insights, and let's all be blessed. And now the stage will be for Rig Veda rendering, and we have an announcement from Sri Vidya.
इदानीं वेदब्रह्मश्री प्रणव घनपाति ऋग्वेदः संक्षिप्तविषयपरिचयः।
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। साक्षान्मूलप्रमाणाय विष्णोरमिततेजसे आद्याय सर्ववेदानां ऋग्वेदाय नमो नमः। प्रथमतया देवं पितरौ विद्यागुरून् च नमस्कृत्य विद्यागुरवः वेदभाष्ये मुल्लैवासद श्री श्री शास्त्रीभगवतः ऋग्वेदे श्री काप्रे घनपाटिनः गुरवः एवं भरणीधरशास्त्रिणः एवं अरविन्दघनपाटिनः यजुर्वेदे जन्तुगुरि श्री शास्त्रीपादाः तान् सर्वान् अपि प्रणम्य किञ्चित् संस्कृते उक्त्वा अनन्तरम् आङ्ग्ले वक्ष्यामि यथामति यथा समयः। वेदः नाम सर्वेषां ज्ञानम् अकरः विदधातोः निष्पन्नः अयं वेदशब्दः वेदात् सर्वं प्रसिद्धति। स च वेदः एक एव सन् कलिकाले बुद्धेः दौर्बल्यात् वेदव्यासेन सम्पूर्णस्य वेदस्य एकम् अध्ययनं दुष्कृतम् इति कृत्वा द्वापरयुगे चतुर्धा विभक्तः इति अस्ति प्रसिद्धः। स च वेदः अस्माकं वैदिक आमुष्मिक सकलसुखसाधनानि यैः इतरप्रमाणैः अवगन्तुं न शक्यन्ते तानि बोधयति। अत एव श्लोकः वर्तते प्रत्यक्षेण अनुमित्या वा यस्तु उपायो न बुध्यते एवं विदन्ति वेदेन तस्माद् वेदेन वेदत इति। वेदस्य द्विरूपः उच्यते, एकः मन्त्रः अपरः ब्राह्मणश्चेति। अत एव मीमांसाशास्त्रे मन्त्रब्राह्मणयोर्वेदनामधेयम् इति जैमिनिना सूत्रितमस्ति। मन्त्रभागः तावत् अज्ञातिदेवानां गुणविशेषान् बोधयन् अनुष्ठानकाले तत्तद्देवता प्रतिपादिकमन्त्राणाम् उच्चारणसमये अर्थस्मारकतया मन्त्राणाम् उपयोगः वर्तते। ब्राह्मणभागे तावत् केचन मन्त्राः व्याख्यायन्ते, अनेन मन्त्रेण किं कर्तव्यम् इति अपि कल्पसूत्रकारैः यथा उक्तं तथा विवरणाभावेपि कुत्रचित् विनियोगः अपि सूचयते इति ब्राह्मणग्रन्थस्य विनियोगः इति तु वर्तते एव। तस्य वेदस्य स्वाध्यायपदेन ग्रहणं वर्तते, तस्मात् स्वाध्यायोऽध्येतव्यः इति तु विधिः वर्तते। अवश्यं स्वपरम्परागतशाखायाः अध्ययनं कर्तव्यम् इति तत्र विधिः। अध्ययनं च गुरुमुखोच्चारण अनुच्चारणम् इति तु प्रसिद्धमस्ति। वेदभाष्यं तावत् चतुर्णां वेदानां भाष्यं विद्यारण्यस्वामिभिः कृतमस्ति। सामवेदे तावत् 8 ब्राह्मणाः वर्तन्ते, तत्रापि विद्यारण्यस्वामिनः सर्वेषां ब्राह्मणानां भाष्यं लिलिखुः। विद्यारण्यस्वामिभिः आन्तं सर्वोपि चतुर्विधः वेदः सम्यक् तत्र कल्प उदाहरणेन निरुक्तप्रधानेन व्याकरणविशेषाणां प्रतिपादनेन एवमेव अस्य सन्दर्भस्य अर्थः तर्हि एवमेव अनुष्ठानं कर्तव्यम् इति जैमिनी ऋषिणा मीमांसायां ये निर्णयः कृतः सः अपि तत्र संयोज्य एवमेव अनुष्ठानम् इति विशिष्य बहु स्पष्टतया उक्तमस्ति। सर्वेषु यज्ञेषु होत्र ऋग्वेदः, तदनुसृत्य मन्त्राश्च प्रयोगतव्या देवानाम् आह्वानाय, अनन्तरं यजुर्वेद उक्तमन्त्रैः अध्वर्युणा तत्तत्कर्माणि निवर्तीयानि, आहुतिश्च हूयन्ते। अनन्तरं च होमद्रव्येण तृप्तानां सर्वेषाम् अज्ञातदेवानां स्तोत्राणि गानरूपेण सामवेदिभिः उद्गात्रविद्यमानैः गीयन्ते इति तावत् यागे उपयोगः वर्तते। परन्तु यः वेदः अथर्वाङ्गिरसः इत्युच्यते अथर्वनाम्ना अङ्गिरो नाम्ना ये ऋषिणः बहवः सन्ति तस्य सर्वेभ्यः उपरि ब्राह्मणः तावत् स्थानम् इति उत्कृष्टमस्ति। तस्य आज्ञानुसृत्य एव ऋत्विजः तत्तत् कार्यं कुर्वन्ति, अनुमतिं च प्राप्नुवन्ति। So if you look at the Vedas were previously one, and these Vedas are known as Apaurusheya and Anadi. Anadi meaning they don't have any beginning, and Apaurusheya because they were not written by anybody. The rishis merely through their tapas they gained the Vedas and they started teaching the Vedas in oral parampara. So the Vedas should not be read by a book. That's why in the 6 people that should not read Vedas, one is Likhita Partakaha. So these Vedas were transferred from generation to generation, from Guru to Shishya, by only hearing and then repeating. That is why it is called Shruti. So if you look at the Rig Veda now, the same Rig Veda we had 10,000 years ago, but we have kept it intact without a change of even a single akshara in those lakhs of padas, in those thousands of mantras. Not even a single akshara or swara has changed. That is the greatness of this parampara. And these are the roots of our Sanatana Dharma. And they are known as the breath of Parameshwara. So the rishis that had gained the Vedas through their tapas taught the Vedas, and that has been progressing through the yugas. And this has been preserved in the unbroken Guru Shishya Parampara. But Bhagavan Vedavyasa, knowing that the buddhi of the humans would decrease in the Kali Yuga, divided the Vedas into 4, so that one person can do at least the adhyayana of one shaka of the Veda. So these are the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda. Of course, the Rig Veda here is first. That's why even in the shloka it said in the beginning, the shloka was Adhyaya Sarva Vedanam. Sarva Vedanam Adi, meaning the first of all the 4 Vedas. And why is that? Some people they misinterpret it as Rig Veda is the oldest Veda, so it was written first, so that is why it is the verse. But as we saw, because they're Anadi and Apaurusheya, that is not true. The reason that Rig Veda is the first of the 4 Vedas is that they are used first in the Shrauta Prayoga. First, in the Yaga, the Rig Veda mantras are used to invite the Devatas. And then the Yajur Veda mantras are used to perform the homas. And then at the end, after the Devatas have had the offerings, the Samaveda mantras are used to satisfy the Devata. So like that, the Rig Veda is the first in the Prayoga. That's why we see in so many places, Rig Veda is always first. In Gita, we say Rig Sama Yajurevacha. In Upanishad also we see Tatra Apara Vidya, Rigvedo, Yajurveda, Samavedaha, Atharvangirasaha. So in even the Chaturdasha Vidyasthanas, the Rigveda is always said as the first. And there we can also refer to this Veda as Trayi. Trayi Vidya, Ritas Sama, Niyajugumshi, Sahishri, Ramrita, Satam. So if we can also break the Vedas as 3, if we combine the Atharvana Veda as Antargata of the Rig Veda, so then it would be Rig Sama Yaju. And furthermore, these Vedas can be divided into 2, Mantra and Brahmana. The mantras in Rig Veda, they resemble like a shloka format, and the Brahmanas resemble Gadya format. So the Samas are mantras in the Gana format. And Rig Veda is then split again into 2. One is the Prakriti Pathas and Vikriti Pathas when we are chanting. So previously, if you look at the first chapter of the Pratishakya of Rig Veda, it is said that there are 21 shakas or branches of Rig Veda. First Paila, and then his 5 shishyas, and then total of 21 shakas were or branches of Rig Veda were mentioned. But however, due to the general decrease of Vedic learning, now there is only one main shaka that is prasiddha or predominant in the entire Bharata, which is Shakala Shaka. We see stories of some other shakas being preserved in Pustaka or within a few members, but there's only the Shakala Shaka is prasiddha. Out of the 21 shakas, the remaining 20 are almost extinct. So this Shakala Shaka that we are mentioning consists of 10,552 mantras split into 10 mandalas or books. Or outside of the mandala format, you can also have the Ashtaka format, where the Rig Veda is split into 8 Ashtakas, and each Ashtaka has 8 adhyayas for a total of 64 adhyayas. So if you look at the first mandala, that has 191 suktas, and it is attributed to Madhuchanda, Medaditi, Gautama, and other rishis. The second mandala with 43 suktas is to Gritsamada and his family. The third mandala, which has 62 suktas, is for Vishwamitra and his family. The fourth mandala with 58 suktas is for Vamadeva and his family. The fifth mandala with 87 suktas for Atri and his family. The sixth mandala with 75 suktas is for Bharadwaja and his family. The seventh mandala, which 104 suktas for Vasishta and his family. The eighth mandala with 103 suktas is for Kanva, Angira and their family. The ninth mandala is with 114 suktas is attributed to Somadevata with various rishis. And the 10th mandala with 191 suktas again is attributed to Vimada, Indra, Shachi, and many others. So the Rig Veda can also be split into vargas or paragraphs. So that would be a total of 64 adhyayas and 2024 vargas or paragraphs. So 64 adhyayas, 2024 vargas, and 10,552 mantras. So this is the basic structure of Rig Veda. So if you look at even other Vedas, in the beginning of the Veda Bhashya, what Vidyaranya Swami says is Yadvai yajnasya samna yujasha kriyate tat chithilam yaddicha tadridam. This is a Yajurveda mantra, but he is quoting it. So whatever is done by Samaveda mantras and Yajurveda mantras are shithilam, or they can be easily shaken. But yadricha tadridam. But what is done by the Rig Veda mantras, those are known as dridhas. And what is the specialty of the Rig Veda is that it has the Niyatakshara Vrittitvam. This Niyatakshara Vrittitvam means all the riks or mantras are contained in a chandas or meter. So you cannot find that in any of the other Vedas. Whether Yajur Veda, we see so many Gadya formats. Sama Veda also, they're only rig. So if you look at the Sama Veda also, all of the mantras are just Rig Veda mantras in singing or Gana format. So here we have about 10,000 odd mantras. In Sama Veda, there's 1,000 mantras, but they're all sung. So even if you look at Sama Veda, Rig Veda is Pradhana. If you look at Yajur Veda also, more than 50% of the mantras are also Rig mantras only. So for example, in Sri Rudram, if you look at the first Anuvakam, 10th Anuvakam, and most of the 11th Anuvakam, those are all Rigs. Only the Anuvakas between 2 and 9 are Yajur mantras. So that is the specialty of Rig Veda. In addition, there are lots of Advaita concepts within Rig Veda itself, in the Karma Kanda itself. For example, one mantra is there. Indram mittam varuna magnima huratho divyasasu parno garutma ekam sat vipra bhodava dantyagni yamamma tarishma namahu. So this is again the Advaita Tattva. So Indram, Mitra, Varuna, all that we call is all Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. The Vipras call as many, but there is actually only one Nitya Chaitanya Vastu, which is Parabrahm. Like that, there are so many Vaishishtyas of Rig Veda. And one thing is, only in Rig Veda and Shukla Yajurveda can we find the Ashtavikriti Pathas. So the Ashtavikritis are the Jata, Mala, Shikha, Rekha, Dvajo, Dandho, Ratho, Ghanaha. So these types of chanting or the Vikriti Pathas were done where you have the same word and you split the word into padas and you split the word into two groups called krama, and then these 8 vikritis where you combine the word, and this in help makes the chanting of the samhita or the moolam intact. So, for example, if you have the word ganana twa, you can say ganana antwa twa ganana anganana antwa. This is called anuloma, viloma, anuloma. This is called as jatapat. So, like that, we have 8 different types of chanting apart from the mula of these entire 10,552 mantras. So, the purpose of this is that if we know these Vikriti pathas, our Samhita pata will be intact. Because when we do Upadesha of this mantra, when we're teaching this to the next generation, we have to make sure that we don't even change one akshara. And back then, without any books or any other recordings or things like that that we have now, it was very, very difficult. And even if one swara changes, a huge change in the meaning can be had. That's why in the Swara Vedika Prakriya of the Siddhanta Kaumudi, there is lots of Swara Vivarnas. So the Vikritis help us master this Prakriti. So even changing one letter can completely change the meaning. So for example, Indra Shatruhu can be defined in two ways, both as the Shashti Tatpurusha and Bahuvrihi. So Indra Shatruhu means Indrasya Shatruhu, or it can mean the one that is the Shatru of Indra. So what happened is when Twashta did a yajna, he wanted to a son that will go and kill Indra. So instead of Indra Shatruhu, he said Indra Shatruhu. So that swara changed it from Shashti Tatpurusha to Bahuvrihi Samas. So instead of getting a son that will go and kill Indra, the meaning changed to the son that will be killed by Indra. So just by this, the complete complete opposite phala was there. Only by the change of one swara, not even any akshara. So like this, the rishis have devised these Ashtavikriti pathas for chanting as well. And they are said to have a certain number of punya. So if you have the one mantra, but you say that entire mantra in jata, that gives 1,000 times the punya. And if you say that same mantra in ghana, which is the last vikriti, that will give infinite punya. And whoever says ghana is Savai Rudra, Vishnu, uh, na samshayah is the vakya there. So that person that has finished all the 8 vikritis up to Gana is known as Vishnu or Shiva, Rudra himself, or Brahma himself. Savai Brahma, Savai Rudra, Savai Vishnu, na samshayah is the vakya. So like this was the brief introduction to Rig Veda.